and of your X-Men.
Spoiler warning. What 24 X-Men would have looked like in a pre-MCU 1980s production has been captured in a collection of fan art. Although Marvel's first X-Men film since regaining the rights is X-Men 97, mutants have long been at the forefront of the MCU's popular culture. Rekindling excitement for the iconic squad after 2000's X-Men helped to launch the popularity of the current comic book movie genre, the animated series Sheer Brilliance has hinted at how the future of the X-Men is in safe hands with Marvel in its upcoming MCU films. In a YouTube video, creator Strayer HD decided to take a look back at a different era and picture what the X-Men would have looked like in live action in the 1980s. While fan casts grow more and more in anticipation of the MCU's X-Men, there are depictions of 24 X-Men characters, including younger versions of Professor X and Magneto than the post-millennium versions made famous by Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart. These incarnations of the characters provide an indication of how the team may have been different had the Fox X-Men storyline been released several decades earlier.
If that should end our star-crossed affair, so be it.
Subscribe to Movie Spy for more twist videos. What would have happened if the X-Men movie had been produced in the 1980s? The distinction between Magneto and Professor X wouldn't just lie in who played them. While X-Men First Class and its follow-ups skillfully portrayed a considerably younger iteration of the mutants that the original X-Men trilogy popularized, an X-Men film from the 1980s would probably accomplish the same for Professor X and Magneto. It's interesting to note, though, that not every figure in the fan video above was able to make an initial appearance. This features Deadpool, Gambit, and Cable, who all debuted in Marvel Comics in 1990. A significant portion of the ensemble would only have made appearances in a late 1980s production because other characters like Jubilee, Pyro, and Rogue were introduced in the 1980s. Not to mention, an X-Men film from the 1980s would not have used as many computer graphics as the ones from today. This might have limited the way some mutant abilities were portrayed, but films like the 1970s blockbuster Star Wars show us how certain things, like Cyclops' optic blasts, could have been handled. Though it may have been a stretch given his star status at the time, Sylvester Stallone's choice to play brilliant scientist Hank McCoy may not have been entirely out of the question. However, given that the comic book arcs that served as the inspiration for the Dark Phoenix and Days of Future Past storylines both debuted in the 1980s, it's ironic that the narratives might have looked exactly like those presented in Fox's X-Men franchise. Wolverine would have continued to be a major character despite the cancellation of the James Cameron-led X-Men film. In light of the fact that Angela Bassett was also considered to play Storm in the same film, the fan video offers some insightful speculation about possible outcomes.